All right, guys, today we're going to learn about foil printing. We're going to take water-soluble markers and color a piece of foil. You want to kind of take one color and equally color little blotches around your foil. Then I'm taking another color and just filling in the parts I didn't get. Again, I'm moving around, doing little blobs all over the paper, so that way the eye will move across the paper following the color. It creates interest in your piece and keeps the viewer wanting more. Coloring red, and I'm making sure that I'm not pressing so hard that I'm actually tearing the foil. It doesn't need to be a thick layer. I only need to color it one time. But I do want to make sure the entire thing is covered. When you're done with that, what you're going to do is you'll raise your hand, and I'm going to come around with a spray bottle full of water. I give your paper a good old squirt, and then you turn your paper down and apply pressure. When you flip it over, you may notice that it didn't transfer in some spots. You see, I have a little white. I'm just taking those spots and I'm re-stamping on areas where I see there's still foil. Now I have a better coat of color. I'm going to let this dry, and next time I see you, we'll focus on space. Today we're going to start by tracing some botanical leaves. These are tropical leaves. Our goal is going to be negative space in this lesson. So I'm tracing around the leaf, and when I'm adding detail, I'm going to add details around the leaves, but not on. The leaf itself is going to be left completely empty to show that beautiful color you got in our last class. It's really important that you trace these stencils carefully because the shape itself really will make or break how your work looks. So I'm carefully getting around all the edges. I can always do this with a pencil first if I feel like that would be more effective, or I'm just afraid that I might make a mistake and I don't want to start all over. So tracing around carefully. You can put some so they're sort of half on your paper. I think I'm going to pick one here, and I'm going to make it running off the edge. This can create interest in your piece, just like using all the color around the paper did. The viewer will kind of be piqued. They'll say, ooh, that was an interesting composition or layout of the paper. And I think I have room for one more. I think this one I'll put on the whole way. In the next step, I really want to focus on craftsmanship. That's doing things carefully. As I Zentangle, yes, you heard me, Zentangle, designs around in the negative space. Zentangles are just kind of thoughtful doodles. You have a Zentangle learning guide. It has a lot of different options of creating Zentangles. Before you do anything on your paper with a Sharpie, I'd like you to practice it in your sketchbook. So here I'm going to make a checkerboard pattern. It's just vertical lines and horizontal crisscrossing. And then I skip every other one. Oop, I guess I'm not doing that. I thought I was. Now I'm going to make these V's. I'm still creating a pattern, and I'm working really, really carefully. And then I'm going to fill in around some of those V's. This is all happening in the negative space. That is the space around the leaves. Negative space is also a way to add interest to your art. Oftentimes we only focus on the positive space, the subject. So it's a little fun and different to focus on what's around the subject rather than just the subject itself. Your Zentangles will look much better if you really take your time and work on them thoughtfully. I'm not making sketchy lines, I'm making detailed, thoughtful lines. I can change to a different Zentangle pattern whenever I feel like it. So maybe I'll make another one in my next area, and that's fine. There can be as many types of Zentangles as you like. but your goal is to fill the negative space. So I'm going to make these kind of wavy lines. Again, I'm making sure to stay off the leaf itself, so it looks almost like it's going behind. I lift up when I get to my positive space, the leaves. Then I think I'd like to make a pattern where I fill in every other one of these wavy lines just to make it a little more interesting. And you can see that I'm obviously fast forward here, but adding a lot of careful, thoughtful details. There's that checkerboard I was talking about. Some wavy lines. I'm making some of them thick, some of them thinner. I can rotate my paper to get better angles. Maybe trying different directions and all different types of Zentangles. Again, this is creating interest. There's a lot for the viewer to look at. And what's particularly interesting is it's all happening in the negative space. Take your time and do your best and really show me good craftsmanship, careful, quality work. The more careful you are in this lesson, the better your piece will look. And there we go. A Zentangled negative space masterpiece.